Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel. This is Joseph Conlon here on Monday, June 14th, 2021. This is a very special video here today. As you guys can see, I have my AEW co-host Wesley Williams, and we are here today for the first ever interview here on the Big Fight Field channel. This man has wrestled in AEW, has taken place on AEW Dark, AEW Elevation, and on AEW Dynamite. He also wrestles for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy and it's my pleasure to welcome the radioactive Poppy, Danny Limelight, to the Big Fight Field channel. How are you, man?
Hey, Big Fight Phil, how y'all feeling, man? Thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you so much for bringing me. Joseph, Wesley, it's a pleasure to meet you guys. I'm excited for this one.
It's a pleasure.
First interview, the first one ever?
Yes.
First one. Woo! Let's go. Let's make it a good one, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So you are guaranteed first interview here on the channel. Hopefully the first of many. So
yes.
But man, how are you doing today, Danny?
Oh man, I'm doing great, man. I'm feeling good. I've been on interviews all morning. You know, I got my daughter here. She's running in and out, watching movies, jumping in, making cameo appearances on the interviews. It's a great day. It's a great day. It's beautiful Los Angeles, and I'm having fun, and I'm excited for this interview.
Yes, sir. Wes, you got any words before we get started?
Oh man, it's quite an honor to have a pro wrestler here on the Big Fight Field channel. The first one, hopefully of many. Danny, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to just be here on Big Fight Field with me and Joseph as we ask you questions, and it's just a pleasure for you to be here. So
thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And myself and Wesley here. Mostly I have stuff to do on Monday night, but Wesley, most of the time, he watches a lot of Dark Elevation, and you've become a huge fan of Danny's over the past couple months.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah, I have. I've definitely been impressed by your work ever since I first saw you appear in AEW, man. You definitely have just tons of potential there, man. I just want to say I just wish you nothing but the best of luck with your career, and I hope to continue to see you more just tearing it up in AEW, whether it's Elevation, Dark, even Dynamite. I just love what you do, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, man.
All right, so we're gonna get started with the interview. We have 7 questions here today for Danny Limelight. I'm gonna start off with my first question. My first question to you, Danny, is I had to when you were coming onto the channel. This was one of the first questions I had to come up with. How'd you come up with the nickname of the radioactive Poppy? We gotta know that.
Man, so for most people know, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. You know, I'm a comic book nerd. So the radioactive came from, you know, the radioactive spider, the radioactive genes. And I thought it was fitting considering the way that I move in the ring, the things that I do in the ring and stuff like that. And then the Poppy came from me, baby. I'm a Poppy. You know what I'm saying? I got the sazon. I bring that Latino flavor. Eddie Guerrero was a huge inspiration of mine. So just put both of it together. Radioactive Poppy, and just make it me, make it who I am, and so that's how Radioactive Poppy, Danny Limelight, came about.
I love it, man. You said you got it from Spider-Man. So are you like a Marvel fan by any chance?
Yeah, I'm a huge Marvel fan, man. I watch all the movies, and I used to read the comics as a kid. I was a huge fan of like the Fox, you know, cartoon shows. So
yeah, that's awesome. I don't read the books. But I do watch the movies. I whenever I go to movies, most of the time, sometimes it's Marvel movies. So that's I like that a lot. That's where you got the name from, the spider, and then you're the Poppy. So
Poppy, that's right.
Yes, sir. Wes, go ahead and ask Danny your first question of the day.
All right. Well, my first question I wanted to ask you, Danny, was who are some of your dream opponents, not only in AEW, but just in pro wrestling as a whole?
Dream opponents, man. I would like to have a one-on-one match with Kenny Omega. Pac is another one. Chris Jericho, Will Ospreay when he gets better, Ricochet, JT Dunn, and Buddy Murphy are the ones that come up to the top of my head right now.
That's JT Dunn's from he's from House of Glory, right?
Yeah, he's been all over the East Coast, man.
Yeah, I've seen some of his work on YouTube and YouTube highlights and stuff like that. So I
He's
think
great.
he's a great professional wrestler. And I'm gonna tie up. He's when you said one of your opponents, um, Kenny Omega. I want to tie that up real quick because I think you've worked a couple matches. Didn't you work? You worked a couple matches with Kenny Omega on
Yeah.
on Dark Elevation. You had the first ever Elevation match against Jungle Boy, which was a great match to say. I loved that match. You worked John Moxley before. How does it feel to work big names such as Omega, Jungle Boy, and John Moxley in AEW?
Man, it's uh it's great, man. It's an honor because you step into the ring with these guys like, Kenny, Moxley, Frankie Kazarian, Seidel, Ray Phoenix. Think of all the guys that I've wrestled. You said Jungle Boy already. All the guys that I've wrestled. Last week Evil Uno in front of the crowd. Like it just gives me another opportunity every chance that I get into the ring with these guys to show the world how good I am. To show the world what I can do and that I belong to be in the ring with the best. Since making my debut at AEW, majority of my matches have been one-on-one single matches. And it felt like week in and week out, another test. And, like, what does he do with this guy? Okay, how does he hold his own in the main event with John Moxley? Okay, Dynamite debut with Kenny Omega, things like that, man. It's no joke, and it's been a hell of a ride, bro, and it's not done yet. So I'm excited to see where the future takes me. But I'm super thankful for all the opportunities that I've been given so far.
You mentioned wrestling Evil Uno on Elevation in front of a crowd. How did it feel like wrestling in front of an energetic AEW crowd?
Best feeling in the world, man. One of the best things I've ever done in my life. Just the reaction when my music hit and I heard the crowd react to the "Mi gente." It popped me, like it felt good coming out, seeing them cheer for me, and then they were alive, they were hot for the match, and it was a fun match, man. It was a really fun match. Evil Uno was great, and so I just can't wait to have more of that. I want to inject all of that into my blood, man. I want more. I want more of those crazy fans in my life.
That's awesome, man. That because a lot of people, including myself and Wesley here, we think that AEW has the best fans in the world, and like the every single match they are just energetic and excited, and it's I love it. It's what wrestling, and we've missed that in wrestling because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, Wesley, do you want to top anything about the topic?
Yeah, I mean, AEW has shown with their shows, like, they just have the best fan base, the most energetic fan base. It's like you feel that energy through the television screen so much. And, like, I've been to one AEW show live before the pandemic, and I felt that energy just up close firsthand. I mean, it's the different kind of feeling. And I'm so happy for you, Danny, that you got to experience that in that match against Evil. I watched that match on Elevation. It's a very good match, and I'm very happy that you were able to perform in such a big audience like that with the fans coming back. It's I'm sure it's a very surreal feeling.
Yes, 100%. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, bro.
Wes, you want to go ahead and ask your next question?
Yeah, the next question I had was, what is the best advice you've ever been given in pro wrestling?
TJ Perkins told me, you can't always hit a run. Excuse me. TJ Perkins told me, you can't always hit a home run, Danny. He said, sometimes you got to take the walk, get on base, steal home, and shock the world. And I think that was the best advice I could have been given, because sometimes I feel like I should be at a certain place, certain level, but I never been a hater. I never been the type of person that be like, how come I'm not there? I always tell myself, how do I work harder? What do I got to do to get there? You know what I'm saying? So when he told me that, it's true. It's like, take the walk. It's an opportunity to get on base and score in baseball terminology, right? But if you think about it in wrestling, I come out there, I get a chance, an opportunity to wrestle somebody like John Moxley, right? What do I do with that? I get to wrestle Kenny Omega. What do you do? And for me, it's always get in the ring, show out, steal the show if we could, have a great match, and leave the fans talking. And I felt like over the last, almost a year now that I've been wrestling there, that's exactly what I've been doing.
That's phenomenal, man. Like, I've never thought of that analogy. Like, don't always try to hit. That's with everything in life.
Yeah,
Don't
that's everything in life.
Yeah, don't always.
TJ Perkins is the man, man.
Don't always try to hit the home run. Whatever opportunity you get, if you could just get on base, like you do it. Like
Yep.
I love that analogy so much. And the next question I gotta ask you, I feel like a lot of people have talked very positively about this, and you've been in AEW for a long time during the pandemic. What's the culture like back there in the AEW locker room with all the great talent backstage that you get to talk to, and you get to think their mind or something, whatever.
And dude, steel sharpens steel. There was one time Santana and Ortiz are really good friends of mine, and I was sitting with Ortiz. We were just talking, and we were looking around, and we see Pac, we see Phoenix, Paul White, Jericho, you know, Christian, Matt Hardy, Kenny Omega, the Bucks. You know, you're looking around and you're seeing all these wrestlers, past, present, future, that are incredibly talented, so damn good. Those are our peers. Those are the people that we could talk to, learn from. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, that in itself is a blessing. And even when I'm in New Japan and I'm looking around and I'm studying and I'm seeing Rocky Romero, Fred Rosser, Jeff Cobb, Jay White, you know, all the guys in New Japan Strong that are incredibly talented. It's like when you're around that environment, whether you think it or not, or you realize it or not, those are all the names that I named just now, and there's plenty more that I didn't name. Super talented wrestlers, superstars, and those are the people you get to learn from, and it's incredible, man.
That's absolutely amazing. I love hearing stuff like that. And you mentioned Santana and Ortiz, and you know, it would kind of be interesting because you know you're both Puerto Rican. Like all three of you are Puerto Rican. So, would you be interested in the future? And would you be interested in being in a stable type thing with Santana and Ortiz? Because they are a great tag team, and I love watching them in AEW.
They're an amazing tag team, 100%. They're awesome. One of the best tag teams in the world. And I think that my dream team would be Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and myself. That would be if I can like write my own faction or own stable, whatever you want to call it. Like that would be my team.
That's amazing. So I would actually like to see that. All tough
Yeah.
dudes.
But I mean, until then, you know, that would be at AEW. But in New Japan, you know, I got Team Filthy, where it's Tom Lawler, Kratos, and myself, and we're doing amazing things there on New Japan Strong on Friday. So I'm in one faction right now there. Then I have the Bodega and the United Wrestling Network with Papo and Slice, who are two upcoming stars that people are going to start seeing more of. So I'm in a couple stables right now that you know that we're doing our thing. The Bodegas, you know, we rocking and rolling. But if I could be in a stable in AEW, it would be those guys.
Mm-hmm. Wes, go ahead and ask another question.
So the third question I had was there a specific match that you go back on that motivated you or inspired you into getting into pro wrestling full time?
Oh man, I have three matches. Whenever I'm gonna sit down and watch wrestling to study, I always start with these three matches. The first one I watch is Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero from Halloween Havoc in 1997. The second one that I watch is The Rock versus Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania. And the third match that I watch, it changes. Sometimes it's Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins at Mania, and sometimes it's Gargano and Cole from Takeover. So those are the three matches that I always watch immediately. And yeah, man, it's the ones that really get the juices flowing and the brains and the wheels spinning and stuff like that. But there are so many good matches out there. You know, recently I've been watching some old Eddie and Dean Malenko stuff, some Jerry Lynn stuff. You know, just things like that I can pick from and learn from. And I like to watch Amazing Red. I like to watch the Ospreay matches and things like that. And I even go back and watch some Lucha Underground stuff.
That's excellent, man. Wes, you have another. You want to ask Danny another question?
Sure. That's pretty much all the questions I have. But if you have another question that you would like me to ask, that'd be cool.
All right, I'll go first. First, a simple question. What got you into professional wrestling?
Oh man, I was a fan as a kid. You know, the first memory that I can remember was 1997 Bad Blood. You know, the Hell in a Cell match with Taker and Michaels. You know, immediately I was drawn into the Shakespeare, the story, the art of wrestling, man. Growing up in New York City, you know, I didn't know about independent wrestling. I didn't know about anything other than WWF back in the day. So, you know, when I started wrestling, I started diving back and learning about wrestling and learning about all these other companies like New Japan, Ring of Honor, the Indies. It was just so much for me to take in and learn from, you know. And I think that when I started training, the person that I really latched onto and that I wanted to study was Seth Rollins. He had just turned on the Shield, so he was doing his first heel run when he became the top guy at WWE. And so I went back and started watching all the Tyler Black stuff, you know, and so it was so much wrestling that I had to take in at once. And, you know, to this day now, I love going back and watching all this stuff and learning from all these people because there's so many different ways to do professional wrestling. You know, there's no one right way or wrong way, you know, so it's an it's an eternal student type thing where you just want to learn as much as you can, you know, never think that you know it all and always try to grow.
And the final question that I have for you here today is, in the future, whether that be an AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, or another company, what are some goals that you have for your future? And who are some of the wrestlers in those companies that you would love to get in the ring with?
So goals, man, I always have goals. I'm never satisfied. I'm always hungry. I always want more. I'm very ambitious. But dream matches, man, like, you know, Pac, Kenny, you know, Ricochet, Ospreay, Jay White, JT Dunn, Buddy Murphy. Those are some of the guys on the top of my head that I would like to wrestle. As far as goals, I just want to continue to grind, continue to, you know, build my brand, continue to steal the show if I could, continue to have great matches, continue to put the work in until, you know, I signed that contract with a major company and I'm a major player on a TV station, you know. So it's going to be a process. It's never easy, but I don't feel like it's impossible. I feel like I definitely have what it takes. I just need the opportunities to keep coming in and I'll keep showing.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not already, you definitely want to go check out Danny Limelight's work on AEW Dark, AEW Elevation, Dynamite, or on New Japan Strong. He is a great wrestler. Became a huge fan of him over the course of his AEW matches on Dark, and to see your growth through the months when you first started to comparing to now to when you were working with Kenny Omega, it's a great thing to see, man. I love it.
Thank you guys so much for having me. So everybody listening, thank you for tuning in to these guys. Joseph, Wesley, you guys are dope. I appreciate you bringing me on the show. Everybody follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Danny Limelight, ProWrestlingTees.com/Danny Limelight, Cameo.com/Danny Limelight. Mi gente, if there's anything you want to do in life, chase it with everything you got. Want it as bad as you want to breathe. Never give up. Never stop grinding. Big Fight Field, thank you for having me. The first ever exclusive interview. I hope you guys get many more. Till next time, my guys.
Absolutely. Wes, you want to say anything before we go?
Man, this was truly an awesome moment. This is the first time I've ever gotten an interview with a pro wrestler in my life. It's honestly a dream come true, man. I'm happy it was you, Danny, of all people. It was really great to just get to talk to you, get to learn more about you, who were, you know, some of your dream opponents and your goals in pro wrestling and in life. It's just really cool to learn more about pro wrestlers as you get to see them more and more. And man, I just wish you nothing but the best going forward, wherever you go, whether it's AEW, New Japan, wherever you are, man. I wish you nothing but the best. And I'm just going to continue to give you praise, man, every time I see you on television.
Thank you so much, bro.
No problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can subscribe to the channel, comment down below, hit the like button, and make sure to subscribe. Until the next video, have a good one, stay safe, and as always, be good people and stay classy.